was a fun event as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Believe Endersword was actually there on that one.
He was. He was doing the wonderful casting that entertained me that rest of the weekend since I couldn't be there myself.
Montreal, got to take a bus. Got to get your parents' permission.
Yep. That was the main reason.
That was wow, spot on. Right. All right, so we are here on Frost, ladies and gentlemen, and the player that needs to make it happen here from Quebec, it is Le desRow. See what I did there?
Yeah. All right. Well, over on the top left, we have our Teal Zerg representing Complexity Sound Blaster with all of those sponsors right underneath his hatchery. It is Hendrilisk.
I don't actually recognize Cyber Power or Scuff Gaming, but I recognize the rest.
Scuff Gaming makes controllers for Xbox 360, I believe.
That's probably why I don't recognize them.
Cyber Power, they make PCs, as you can see, with the PC at the end of their name.
I understood that part, but never heard of them. There's a lot of companies out there, though, getting more and more involved in esports, like Chairs for Gaming. So we do extend our thanks and love to them. Guys can use the code ESChamp on the website for $20 off and a footstool, and part of those proceeds will go here to ESChamp TV for more events for your participation.
And, of course, it is free shipping. So, as most Canadians do feel...
That's
when
the
you
best part. Really.
Yeah. Well, as a Canadian, like, if you try getting anything,
from
a lot
States,
of times it's just terrible in terms of shipping.
It's because it's border fees, it's custom fees, it's I'm just screwing you over fees.
But yeah.
Well, desRow's not going to quite go the right way there. It's not going to find that early hatch that we just saw Hendrilisk put down.
Yeah, well, Frost, it's a big map. Eventually he'll find Hendrilisk, but for right now...
Imagine a map where it's just like you never find your opponent.
Just like your base shifts.
Yeah.
Whenever your opponent's about to find you.
It's like a deck of cards and just shuffles every now and then.
Yeah, that would be fun. It sounds like
It'd
something
be fun, but
could
like
do.
you could go an hour with a 200 army, just don't know where to go.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, let's meet up in the middle, and then the entire map just flips, and you're on either side now.
Yeah.
So you'll just never make it to find each other.
Well, in theory, the middle should never really change. In theory, but thank God we don't have that here in StarCraft.
Yeah. Well, desRow right now, he's going to be finishing up his second assimilator there, so it looks like he will be going for, I believe, an expansion, as it's finished up a little later than the regular 1515 if you did want a mothership core much quicker. And, yeah, he's going to be dropping down a Nexus outside in his natural. And Hendrilisk, he's just going to be getting metabolic boost, getting his first queen, a couple Zerglings. Pretty normal.
Yeah, no proxies, unfortunate. It's again like desRow just, luck of the draw, went off to the wrong places. Is going to find Hendrilisk here at his natural, and he will notice that there is that already completed natural ready to go. 2 queens on the way with metabolic boost, as you said, and it's very, very standard kind of stuff out of here from Hendrilisk. No Stargate as of yet, though, for desRow. He does have a mothership core and some Stalkers. Wonder if we're going to see Stalker play then, I wonder. Like, just kind of skip the whole Stargate phase of the game.
Well,
because if you know that your opponent is going to be favoring, that's a dead bro. If you do know that he's going to be favoring ground armies, which we saw, sufficient evidence of last game, Hendrilisk doesn't really take to the skies really that often as a note.
Well, that's because Zergs, they don't have too many aerial options that can come out really quick, unlike other races. Like Terran, you can get the Banshees, you can get the Ravens, Protoss, you can get Phoenix. But Zergs, you need the lair, you need to have a lot more gas than other races do, so it just becomes such a hassle that you might as well stick to the ground.
So again, if you're thinking that your opponent will stick to the ground, loading up a bunch of Stalkers, some meat fodder with Zealots, and then into a Robo Bay is not a terrible idea to go.
Yeah. Well, Hendrilisk, he's going to be getting his third. desRow is getting up a Forge and 2 more Gateways right now. And
pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, and it looks like it might be a Stardust-esque build, where he goes for a lot of gateway pressure with sentries in the back. So it's kind of like Sentry Immortal, except you have a lot more Stalkers and no Immortals.
It's like Sentry Immortal, but not.
Yeah, because, well, in a Sentry Immortal, you have 20 Sentries, 3 Immortals. In a not Sentry Immortal, in a Stardust push, you have 20 Sentries and
what on earth could you ever use 20 Sentries for?
Force fields. Lots of force fields.
Force fields forever.
Yes. That was literally the entire point back in Wings of Liberty towards the end, especially since a lot of those maps, they had very narrow choke points, so many force fields that they couldn't touch you, and their base would just be right there, and you'd be attacking it, and they just couldn't kill you.
Well, another Roach Warren is going to be coming the way here of Hendrilisk, who's playing hide and seek with that Mothership core at this point. But in terms of the workers, it's actually a very comfy lead going the way of Hendrilisk. Again, 3 base. We got Hallucinated Phoenix out. I wonder if desRow is actually trying to trick at this point Hendrilisk, because he sees the Phoenixes, or he sees the Hallucinated Phoenix. But at the same time, we saw that last game.
Yeah.
He might be thinking, all right, he's going to go Phoenix again.
Well, even last game, even though he did go Phoenix, still going for the same kind of thing, he is going to be dropping down an Evolution Chamber this time around, and I like that choice much better instead of just opting to go and charge and then not really be able to control it too well. But it looks like, going to be getting up his lair now. He's going to be getting out some roaches, and we'll have to see where he goes from that. I feel like a Hydralisk Den might not be too bad of an option, especially since he is going to be getting +1 missile attack.
Yeah, I just saw that. 11 more drones on the way as well. My goodness.
Yep, welcome to Zerg.
Yeah. Well, 3 bases. You gotta put a decent amount of workers on each. 6 minimum for the gas, and then another 8 minimum just for the minerals.
16.
I said 8 minimum. 16 is more comfortable for sure.
Yeah.
What is it? The saturation rate is 3 per? Yeah, 24 to 8, 3 per.
Well, that's what Blizzard tells you, but it's not actually completely true. It's actually 2 per.
Yeah, you can get right down into the micro transactions of it all, right?
Yeah. And, well, right
but
now...
again, desRow is going to see everything.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
But Hallucinated Phoenix really just going to be able to see everything. And Sparkcrawlers are going down, so the Hallucinated Phoenix are kind of poking Hendrilisk the wrong way. But right now, a lot of upgrades on the field here for both players, with Tunneling Claws and Burrow on the way. And I like this. Hendrilisk, when he does his Roach Burrow play, it's very, very refined, unlike most players where they just kind of go for it because they feel like they can this game. But Hendrilisk, he has prepared Roach Burrow builds.
Have you ever seen the Carbot animation of the Planetary Fortress just trying to play whack-a-mole with roaches? That's sort of the idea.
Yeah.
Sort of the idea. You can think of it along those lines. Big army moving out here from Hendrilisk. 67 now with the recent pops, up to the 27 there of desRow. desRow might be a little bit too comfy, and hopefully you'll have enough force wheels just kind of hold this off. But a factor of 3 between the armies, Delk. That's a little worrisome.
Yeah. Only Immortal, 5 sentries.
That's a dead Immortal.
Yeah, that Immortal is going to go down, but as you can see, a lot of sentries just going to be able to kind of pull the roaches back for now. But, not enough force fields, evidently, and going to be able to kill off almost all of those gateway units. And Hendrilisk, he's pushing through with so many roaches, and more on the way. +2 is going to be finishing up in a while, and Blink as well, so it's not going to work.
I think this is over.
And even going to be burrowing, Tunneling Claws finished up, going to be able to get right through that wall, and Time Warp will go down, but it's not really going to be able to do too much. There's just way too much Zerg right now.
Way too much. Is it about a factor of 3 between the armies, even more now as desRow is starting to slowly crumble. We do got the Photon Overcharge as well as the Time Warp there, but the roaches are in the back, and
GG.
That is just too much to deal with. desRow in very quick succession. I think those are about average 12-minute games. Is going to drop 2-0 to the Zerg of Toronto from Complexity, Mr. Hendrilisk.
So we got Toronto finals here. Toronto showing.
Torcraft finals bleeding into the Kings of the North. I guess Toronto just really likes StarCraft to get 2 finalists.
Yeah. And, I'd say we're one of the better regions in Canada. Definitely a lot of good talent out here. Many Grandmasters over here.
Yeah, definitely being exposed to Massa and Hendrilisk, and even last year at Anime North when we started doing some StarCraft content there, we had Rise out there as well. He was definitely a hoot, and I don't know, man. Kings of the North is starting to finally take shape. It will be Massa and Hendrilisk in the finals. We're going to have an interview with Massa. With Hendrilisk.
Yes.
And then one with desRow before we get into our best of 5 finals here for Kings of the North. And $300 prize pool going to be split out between the top 2, and already, it's definitely worth it. Come first or second, Hendrilisk and Massa going to go home with money.
Yeah. So they're looking in a pretty comfortable position here, but of course, a large difference for the money there. 225 to 75 definitely want to go with the 225.
But still, I mean, if I made $75 every weekend just from playing StarCraft,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother doing that math right here. But, so, yep, speaking of the money, all the money is going to be done there in the best of 5. But first, we are going to have our interview. So, Kings of the North interview with Henderless. Going to be coming up next here with Mr. Dog, our young part of the esports. And the old part here going to go for nap. So, see you in a few.